sound system. Anyway, good evening and welcome to the second annual Greater San Fernando Area Chamber Gala Dinner. And we're so pleased to have you here. We're all excited about this evening, simply because our honorees are faces that I've known for practically all my life. I'm seeing some important corporate citizens as well who are seated among us, as well as friends and well-wishers who continue to support the San Fernando Chamber, which is roughly 2 years old, Keran. I think it was formed in your living room or mine. Anyway, I'm the secretary, of course, to the Chamber, Hansley Ajoda, and of course a supporter and a member of the Greater San Fernando Area Chamber. We're going to start the official part of the ceremony, which isn't going to be too long, because we've got a nice little after party afterwards, where I think many of us will become quite familiar with each other if that isn't the case already. So let me first of all ask Mr. DJ, National Anthem. If you can please stand for the National Anthem of our beloved Republic. Please remain standing. You had me worried there, Mr. DJ. It sounded like the opening of Kalhona Hood for a while there. Let me call on Prophet Samuel Randani to give us a universal prayer.
Bless you all. Can we all bow our heads and pray today? Father God, I give you glory today. Mighty Jesus, I pray today, Lord, that everything flows smooth today in this place. Holy Spirit, have your will and your way in this place, God. I pray every heart will be touched today, and everything, Lord, be orchestrated by you. The Bible says in 2 Corinthians 20 and verse 20, believe in the Lord your God, and you shall be established. And believe in your prophets, and you shall prosper. Father, I speak prosperity over every individual life in the name of Jesus Christ. And I pray, Father, may after this meeting, may every individual be transformed by your Spirit, Lord, your amazing Holy Spirit. I give you glory and I give you praise in no other name that I speak, in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
You may take your seats. Your leadership, the first citizen of the city of San Fernando, Mayor Junior Regrello and Mrs. Regrello, to His Excellency, Mr. Arun Kumar, High Commissioner of India to Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Chandra Sharma, former Member of Parliament for Faizabad, Mr. Wayne Mohammed, ASP, am I correct? Senior Superintendent Wayne Mohammed in charge of crime for the city of San Fernando. Specially invited guests, of course, our honorees here, Mr. Keran Singh, Mr. James Lewa, Dr. Roy Tilakdari, and former Mayor Mr. Ian Nathalie, corporate citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, friends, well-wishers, members of the media, welcome to our second gala dinner of the Greater Area San Fernando Chamber. And thank you so much for your presence here. I'm Hansley Ajoda, and my task is a simple one, to ensure that things run along very smoothly and that we'll be able to party at 9 o'clock. This is a very special moment for all of us here, because the chamber and the purpose of this chamber, when Mr. Singh and several other concerned citizens of San Fernando and environs got together, we decided that our city was facing what one would describe as an uphill task. That being, of course, that we've been feeding Trinidad and Tobago for so long. The Southland has been the lifeblood of our entire nation. And the reciprocal value or the reciprocity was never truly felt. We've had people like Mayor Regrello who continue to struggle day by day to see how we can uphold this great city of ours as we continue to face not only difficult times, but neglect. The purpose of this chamber is to bring business back to the city of San Fernando, to embrace those around the city, the environs of the city, as we continue to give her the spark that she once held. When I left San Fernando and started working in the media at Trinidad and Tobago Television and the National Broadcasting Service, it broke my heart to leave our beloved town in those days. And I would still come on a Saturday and a Sunday with my first wife and my second wife. I never broke tradition, to come to Athens Bakery to buy bread, which I bought as a little boy growing up on Rushworth and Gordon Street. I grew up on Rushworth Street in San Fernando. As a member of the media back in Port of Spain was Port of Spain Media. And San Fernando, of course, was relegated to just 5 minutes. The 610 Tobago show, which I would join with Michael London and Orville London in those days, had 30 minutes. And the majority of the advertising came from South. How unfair is that? The purpose of this chamber, and of course its president, Keran Singh, who I'm proud to not only call brother, but of course my president, is to not only bring that business back, but bring back the great pride. We've been fortunate enough to have an excellent mayor who has helped us from just 2 years ago we started, from our early period, and helped us to walk the walk and held our hand to understand the purpose of a chamber, especially in a great energy city such as ours. So tonight we'll be honoring people who helped and contributed to the greatness of our city and why we are so proud. And after my third wife took my home, I came back happily. As a matter of fact, there was a common denominator. There was something very synonymous about my 3 wives. They were excellent housekeepers. They were. After the divorce, they kept their house. And we're hoping now that through this chamber, the goals and aspirations we held as young boys growing up in the heart of San Fernando would be realized. And we hope that everyone gathered under this roof here this evening will assist this chamber, because we can't do it just as a board or a membership, but we need the support of extraordinary people such as yourselves gathered here this evening. And many of the honorees, we know that you've served and you've served and you've served, and you're going to have to continue serving and serving and serving until we achieve that dream, hopefully in our lifetime. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome our President and my dear friend and brother, Mr. Keran Singh, to give an account and, of course, to state his vision for the city of San Fernando and, of course, this honorable chamber. Mr. Keran Singh, please put your hands together for our President. It's the first time you lost your stand, isn't it? Mr. Tulsi, I'm just putting you on the corner here, right?
Good night to the first citizen of the city of San Fernando, His Worship the Mayor, Alderman Junior Regerlo, and Mrs. Regerlo. We did expect the Honorable Attorney General to be here. We expect he may be running a bit late with the hectic election season that we're facing right now. We would also want to welcome the former Member of Parliament, Mr. Chandra Sharma, and mediator in a fast-growing industry to assist the judiciary system. His Excellency Arun Kumar Sahu, High Commissioner of the High Commission for the Republic of India, Senior Superintendent Wayne Mohammed. I'd like to make a special mention to the Chairman and CEO of Maritime Financial Group of Companies, Mr. Andrew Fugacy, who is a very avid, strong supporter of the San Fernando Chamber of Commerce. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good night. Welcome to our second annual Charity Christmas Gala and Dinner. Having this event enables the Chamber to raise funds for charitable events next year. As the Greater San Fernando Area Chamber of Commerce enters its second year of operation, we are proud to announce that we now have a more than 100 strong membership, which continues to expand from Couva in the north to Pinal in the south and Princestown in the east. Over the past year, the Chamber has achieved several significant milestones from the Southland. We had a successful Mother's Day promotion where shoppers and passers-by enjoyed free live entertainment, giveaways, and promotions and discounts all in downtown San Fernando. In our efforts to achieve green city status, the Chamber collaborated with the San Fernando City Corporation in the planting of trees on Harris Promenade during the year. The GSACC continues its role in giving back to the community as we distributed school supplies to deserving children in the San Fernando greater area, and also honoring the top SCA students who were from San Fernando, of course. The intelligence comes from South. On Independence Day, we hosted the Dragon Boat Regatta at the San Fernando Yacht Club. This was a momentous occasion for San Fernandans to experience an activity that is normally held in Chagaramas. Of course, our gratitude goes out to the Dragon Boat Association, the San Fernando Yacht Club, the Mayor, and the City in ensuring that San Fernando had an impressive showing of Southern hospitality. The Greater San Fernando Area Chamber of Commerce was invited to present its views on local government reform to the Joint Select Committee of Parliament earlier this year. This was a historic moment for the San Fernando business community. We contributed to the national conversation on this bill, which when enacted will forever change the way city corporations and boroughs function in this country. Local government reform is imperative to this country achieving first world status. The Chamber eagerly awaits the tabling of this bill before Parliament. Communities will benefit greatly by having more access to funds and be better positioned to manage the human resource component within their boundaries. This could not have happened at a more opportune time, as the local government election is in 2 weeks. And I would like to say good luck to all the candidates. The Chamber has given voice to San Fernando in contributing to the pre- and post-budget discussions held this year. We continue to advocate for San Fernando being part of the financial decision-making processes in this country. After all, the financial resources to develop this country did come from South. We supported the very successful car show in conjunction with the illegal and the city, which was held recently on the Cross. This was a fun-filled family day with fruit snacks and bouncy castles for the kids. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service must be commended for being out in full force to ensure the event was a crime-free one. As a responsible chamber, we continue to make valuable contributions and representations to the redevelopment of the San Fernando waterfront project. Overall, the economy is not in the best of health. While we await the completion of the sale of the Petrotrin refinery, we are pleading with the Honorable Attorney General, who I was expecting would be here, but we will speak nevertheless, to expedite the startup of the waterfront project. This will give the southern economy a much needed boost. We also look further south to the much anticipated startup of the Labray Dry Dock shipping facility. These projects will not only create jobs, but bring new economic activity to the southern economy. The Chamber is pleading to the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Energy to revisit the deal with the petroleum dealers. Our members in this particular industry need assistance and guidance from the government. This is a high volume turnover business with low margins. Coupled with this is the fact that the business levy and green fund levy, which are non-refundable, are calculated on gross sales. This has proven to be quite a challenge for the smaller dealers in the market to meet overhead expenses, of course. While we agree that revenue generation must be taxed, we are advocating for some measure of relief to be extended to the members. We know that the petrochemical sector is facing some level of challenge with the Atlantic LNG and Yara scenarios. It is comforting for us to learn, however, that we have a 10-year plus reserve of gas at current consumption rates. We are imploring the government to engage in strategies that would maximize our limited valuable gas resource to ensure that the best market prices are obtained while sustaining current levels of investment and securing new foreign partners in this sector. Recognizing that entrepreneurs need to create alternative avenues to maintain financially stable operations in this economy, the Chamber has introduced a number of initiatives with respect to sustainable business development. Membership certificates have been printed to distribute to members for display in their places of business. Discount cards will also be issued to members in order for them to benefit from lower prices, special promotions, and other business opportunities within the business community. Our ongoing discussions are currently underway with the TTPS and the City Corporation with respect to members securing some temporary relief of parking in downtown San Fernando. This is geared towards entrepreneurs and shoppers being able to avail themselves of a small window of approximately 20 minutes to conduct business or shopping without disturbing the smooth flow of traffic in the downtown area. Members will be issued with parking passes with easy identification. This initiative is envisioned to operate until the proposed parking meter system, which we have been advocating for, becomes a reality. As we all know, we have a very efficient wrecking service in San Fernando. We observe that work has commenced on the upgrade of Skinner Park. This park has been suffering for decades. This renovation will provide an avenue of relief for youths to engage in fitness, sporting, and leisure activities, and it can also be a source of revenue generation for the city. And we look forward to the speedy conclusion of this park. The cross-crossing bridge is nearing completion. The Chamber remains hopeful that the pace of work continues unabated as we enter the Christmas season. Traffic is a major hindrance to business activity. The GSACC would want to see this bridge opened as soon as possible. Never before in the history of San Fernando has Library Corner seen such a beautification project take place. We stand proud to announce that we recently completed lighting up the entire Library Corner in a carousel-like fashion. This was achieved before the Diwali celebrations of the city. Rope lights are currently being installed on the surrounding Tiantec pools in the area. This project has, of course, the blessings of the mayor, and the installation was provided through the kind generosity of Tiantec. Ladies and gentlemen, international financial agencies have predicted very little positive growth for 2020. Consumerism should be refocused and encouraged to purchase local in all sectors. The food import bill is astronomical in this country. We need to modify our appetites towards more locally grown and produced food. The GSFCC can be a catalyst, a platform for change through our membership to get into the agribusiness sector. To demonstrate how we have set about to achieve this goal, one of our members, a former Petrotrin employee, went from crude oil to coconut oil. After leaving Petrotrin, he started to produce coconut oil right here in South Trinidad and Tobago. But the most ironic thing happened. As his business is expanding, the demand for his brand of locally produced coconut oil and its derivatives for skin, hair, nails, etc. is also increasing. But guess what happened? He's unable to secure enough coconuts to sustain his business. As an immediate short-term relief measure, he is currently exploring the avenue of importing coconuts for his business to survive. This is incredible in a country where we had so many viable, economically profitable coconut estates over the years. So, ladies and gentlemen, this signals to us the need to re-energize the agricultural industry. This sector can be a net foreign exchange earner for the economy. We applaud the efforts of our local chocolatiers and wine producers. In fact, we have some local wine that you all can feel free to sample later on tonight. The international community is paying attention to us in this regard and noticing the high quality of product originating from this country. Tourism has been receiving much needed attention from the government within recent times. We have the greatest show on earth, Carnival. Trinidad and Tobago has a lot to offer, and if properly rebranded, tourism can be a significant net foreign exchange earner to the economy. The film industry is still in its infancy in Trinidad and Tobago. We note that the government has been incentivizing the sector, and we view this as a welcome initiative. This industry has the potential to expand exponentially by creating jobs and generating revenue in the economy. We have the talent readily available to us to maximize on this strategy. In fact, the secretary to the San Fernando Chamber, Ansley Ajuda, is already in the film producing business. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we sit here tonight to enjoy our dinner and party afterwards, our message for 2020 is simple. Let's get together to re-energize the economy and the business community of Trinidad and Tobago. And let me take this opportunity to wish everyone a bright and prosperous 2020 and a very safe and enjoyable Christmas 2019. Thank you all very much for coming and attending. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
It's going to make any more sense for the rest of the night. So if we could just take this, please. right, ladies and gentlemen, before, in the interest of one of our honorees, we're just going to break our program a little bit, and we will be bringing this honoree up shortly, and I'll be inviting David Sammy in just about 2 seconds, David, because I just want to give away a door prize to read the biography and, of course, present to Mr. James Lever, former principal of Naparima College. But we've got a door prize that we're going to be drawing for right now, and we're going to just shake this up, right? Okay, good. George, you don't mind working with this? You'll be able to work with this? All right, good. So, my only question is, Keran, how are we going to reach inside there to get this chit? Yeah. It's almost as though we didn't want to give it away. All right, thank you. So here we go. This is for the first door prize. We've got several door prizes that we're going to give out here tonight. Quite a few. And the first is going to number
249.
249. Ticket holder 249. 249. For the first door prize. 249.
Go again.
Nobody with 249? Please check your tickets. Your Excellency, you want to leave? All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. All right, in fact, Your Excellency, come pull this one before you leave. Let's give you a Trinidad and Tobago welcome. And maybe we'll talk to you afterwards how your country is now the second fastest growing economy in the world? All right, good. So we're going to give a pull here one more time. Good. Number 244. 244, 244. That's 244. That's what? Oh, you had it before? All right, okay, all right. Well, Your Excellency, we will say 244. I think maybe we should give it. Let's bring 244 as well. So let's give out 2 door prizes. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and take care. All right, so 249, who's going to give this prize? Where are the prizes? Yes? So let's decide. Come, my lovely lady. I was just about to ask you, since when do you need anybody's permission to come up here? Good. So, this is the first door prize, and this is a, okay darling, let me get your name. This is where I feel like Shah Mohammed. Was it Fernando Masada Mohammed? Was it Shah? Yeah, so what is your name, child?
It's Joyce Dutton.
Joyce Dutton. Alright. That's interesting. Alright, so $500 gift card courtesy Marus International? Marcus International? Okay, good. Sorry, I don't have my glasses. Marcus International brands galore. And Donnie and Ann's brands galore. $500 gift card voucher. Alright? So, congratulations, Miss Ludnat. Let me just check to make sure that's your ticket. 249. I'm not seeing it anywhere. How do you know you had 249? Good. I'm seeing it. Just pulling it back. I'm only pulling it back. No, sorry. Yeah. Right. So, let's just check on the, what was that first one? 244. Right. Thank you. Can I have your name?
Gita Rams.
Gita Ramprasad. All right, Gita. And this is, not that you need it, a Sasha makeover. All right. So, congratulations to you, Gita. And congratulations. Hold on a minute. You might be lucky enough. Right, so we're going to get rid of those 2 numbers. I see Jack Taprodas here. Jack, you know when he was talking about petroleum dealers, I know that has been very much in the news almost every day for the last month. Jack told me it's so bad, his house is so small that he has to go outside just to change his mind. That's how bad it is. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, David, before we give that the first honoree. I'd like to welcome the man who has helped us to walk the walk and guide us in the development of the Greater San Fernando Chamber. Like myself, he grew up in the city of San Fernando. He has become a legend in the world of culture, served as a member of parliament for San Fernando West, and now he's our mayor and our dear friend. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mayor Junior Regrello.
Thank you, Hansley. Permit me to recognize former Member of Parliament Chandra Sharma, members of the Greater San Fernando Chamber, Mr. Keran Singh, and members of the committee, former Mayor San Fernando, Mr. Ian Artley and Mrs. Artley, Senior Superintendent of our Police Service, Mr. Wayne Mohammed. I think we should give Mr. Mohammed a round of applause for the tremendous work that the San Fernando division is doing with crime. I want to thank the Greater Chamber for the contribution they've been making, because 2 years ago when they were formed, when I came Mayor San Fernando, there was a body calling themselves the San Fernando Business Association, made up of 3 or 4 people, and that did not fully represent the business of San Fernando. What I saw from Keran and his group was a mixture, a cross-section of businesses from Sparrow Street, Coffee Street, Marabella, High Street, and Panapia Road, which really is the Greater San Fernando. I want to commend them for what they have done, and the work they're doing so far. They have supported us tremendously. As Keran outlined a while ago, we spoke about the lighting on Library Corner and Hollis Promenade, and some of the money came from the Mayor's Project Fund as well. So when your vehicle gets wrecked, $100 from that wrecking fee goes to the Mayor's Project Fund and given back. So we did that, so it's a contribution made by the Mayor's Project Fund, because people don't understand what happens with that. But that money goes to charity most times, 90% of the times. Let me also say, as I come to the end of my term as Mayor of San Fernando expires on the 28th of November. I'm happy to recognize the former alderman here, Mr. Kevin Rathiram, who served under the last administration. And as we move out, we have to look at what is happening in San Fernando. Recently, somebody said that San Fernando is a ghost town. I think it was Mr. Munila. I don't know where he got his information from. But last night, I think we opened the Hard Rock Cafe in the City Mall. And that mall is expanding. We have C3 happening on the outskirts of the Koki area. And South Park is doing tremendously. So San Fernando is really at the cusp of development as we speak. Just Friday morning, 25 young men were hired at Skinner Park for the redevelopment project, and piling starts on Monday. More employment will be given to young people in San Fernando. There's a part of 100 persons again from various districts who registered yesterday morning and will be employed gradually as we go along. The waterfront project will start within the next month or so, as they start the expansion of the highway from 3rd Street all the way to King's Wharf. There are several projects that are on stream. The Chancery Lane car park opposite the teaching hospital, the car park outside San Fernando General Hospital, the building complex that we built in Carlton Lane, the high-end apartment buildings on the waterfront. So I'm not seeing a ghost town, but I'm seeing development and opportunities for the Greater Chamber in San Fernando. And we need to look at these things in a very positive way as we move forward, because if I was 19-year-old, I'd been very excited. If I was a businessman in San Fernando, I'd have been excited for the opportunities that lie ahead of us. Recently, somebody made another comment again about what it was. I think it had to do with officials of the city corporation that had students, children at University of the West Indies who were the ghost gang. Well, I'm saying to Mr. Munilal, if you have evidence of that, call names, go public with it. Do not bring children's names into these things and you cannot substantiate those claims. I have a son who is in the University of the West Indies, but he has never worked in the corporation. I went so far as calling him lazy, in a very kind of jovial comment. But let me tell you this. He and I made a video this evening, and we call him the video King Lazy, because if you cannot prove something, then don't say it. So my son reminded me of a Kadusai good way back in the 60s called The Lazy Man by Mikey Douglas. Anybody familiar with that song? Like before your time. You remember that song? Yeah, right. I lazy to wine or dine, I'm lazy to speak my mind, sunshine as hot as fire. I'm lazy to perspire, I'm hungry like I want to dead. I'm lazy to bite for bread. I'm hungry and I'm sleepy like an old round sheep. I'm too lazy to go to sleep. That's what I call my son this evening. Thank you for having me and thank you for enjoying the rest of the evening.
Thank you very much, Mayor Regrello. If you could just sit, please. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure as the Secretary of the Chamber to give out this particular award simply because I grew up with this man whom we are honoring here this evening. I've known him since I was 11 years old. And David Sammy, whom I've also known when I was 14 years old. And he himself is a live wire and certainly a legend here in the city of San Fernando. I'm going to invite him on stage now to read the biography of our first honoree here this evening. David Sammy, ladies and gentlemen.
Good night, everyone. Are you hearing me down in the back there? Hearing me? Right. I don't know that guy, but I've seen his reflection. All right. I apologize for my casual wear. I was at a scout function before. Any scouts here? Sayad? And I'm saying this because the San Fernando troop, and we are all now celebrating 100 years, 5th Naprima Scout troop. So, I think that's noteworthy. So I sped down here, and so I can't match your sartorial splendor. My suit is on the bed at home, but I won't wear it when I go back. So this is a short tribute to Mr. Liwa because really, if I were to give a treatise, I would spend a lot of time. So this hopefully would capture a lot of what he did for us. And he's here with us, even though he isn't that well. James Liwa was born in Tableland, but his family soon moved to San Fernando and settled at Bertrand Street. He attended San Fernando Government Primary and won a government exhibition to Naprima College in 1942. There he excelled in his studies, and at Senior Cambridge Higher Certificate, now known as CAPE, he twice placed second for the Island Scholarship. That's what it was called in those days. In those days, only the first place student was given financial assistance by the government. During his years as a student, he distinguished himself in the literary activities of the school, such as the elocution and oration contests, the senior literary and debating club, and the drama club. In conversation with Mr. Liwa, he said that he tried every sport available to him, but soon realized that his strength lay in swimming. So he often swam the flat rock and back. Anybody doesn't know what flat rock is? All right, somebody else on the table tell them. Okay. Yes, the little island. On leaving school, he was employed at the college for a year and a half, during which time he wrote the scholarship exam to the University College of the West Indies in Jamaica. He won an open scholarship and left for Jamaica in 1951. There, he blossomed. He completed his English honors degree and then stayed on to read for his diploma in education. Victor Edwards, leading educator, playwright, and director, in his detailed master's thesis, from which emerged the book Secondary Schools Drama Associations in Trinidad and Caribbean, quotes Liwa as saying, "I remember acting along with P.J. Patterson, later Prime Minister of Jamaica, as bailiffs in Juno and the Peacock. He then co-produced the morality play Every Man, which gained the attention of theatre critics in Jamaica. Liwa distinguished himself as a director at the University College, where he worked closely with Errol Hill, Slade Hopkinson, Derek Walcott, and Rex Nettleford, all who became luminaries in Caribbean theatre and also left an international footprint. It was in this milieu that he also met his future wife, an already established actress, Mavis Ascott. James Lewa returned to Trinidad in 1956, was rehired at Naparima College, and immediately embarked on a journey that would leave its mark on Trinidad and Tobago. I offer the following chronology to highlight major signposts along that road. 1956. Assumed leadership of the Drama Guild, which was formed in 1955, after being asked by its members since its founder, Hollis James, was leaving for Port of Spain. They produced plays consistently under his leadership until 1975. 1964, he obtained a USIS scholarship to Yale University for 1 year to study drama. 1965, formed the Secondary Schools Drama Association based in San Fernando. So the chronology is important to see the development. 1966, appointed Vice Principal of Naparima College. 1967, selected by the Ministry of Culture to be the stage manager for our cultural contingent to the World Fair Expo 67 in Montreal, Canada. Another great San Fernandian was also there as a dancer, Torrance Mohammed. 1969, he formed the San Fernando Arts Council, which is now in its 50th year. 1971, creator and editor of the Guyap magazine, a publication of the San Fernando Arts Council, which focused on cultural activities in the South and broader issues affecting San Fernando. He shone a bright light on the inadequacies of the town. 1975, received a British Council scholarship to City University London to study theatre management. In 1976, he formed the San Fernando Citizens Action Committee. And they had 6 aims. I'll just read 4, and they will be relevant to you. 1976, to serve as watchdog of public interests, to help in all efforts at preservation and conservation of the environment, to work for a better quality of life for all citizens, to serve as a channel for creative ideas for the improvement and development of the town. This group critically examined the impact of government policy as it affected San Fernando and environs. In 1976 also, he formed the group, the San Fernando Theatre Workshop, producing 40 plays between 1976 and 2008. I and Hansley have come out of that. In 1977, they, the Citizens Action Committee, started a sticker campaign, Save the Hill, and a demonstration for the same purpose. Eventually, for those older heads, like the mayor, you would know that they were successful, and what we have left there is thanks to that man. In 1978, they again had a bumper sticker, Build the Gulf Bridge, in reference to spanning the Sapero River to give another access point to San Fernando. In June 1979, they held a seminar at the town hall entitled Planning for a Better San Fernando, 1979. A letter was then sent to the town clerk for action to be taken on 12 points. Coincidentally, point number 2, Foreshore Reclamation Project, 1979. Throughout his busy life, Lewa found time to hold other positions of responsibility, such as chairman of the Naparima Bowl Board, chairman of the San Fernando Museum Committee, member of the National Cultural Council. His days were spent in teaching, and his evenings in meetings and rehearsals, striving for perfection in every pursuit. We are here to honor a brilliant, talented man whose ideas have affected the very core of our existence as a nation. Dr. Alan Mackenzie, former principal of Naparima College. Okay, thanks for the music there. Dr. Alan Mackenzie, just now, I don't know, let's turn that off this, right? I'll start the sentence again. Dr. Alan Mackenzie, former principal of Naparima College, in tribute to Lewa on his retirement in 1988, said, "It is my considered opinion that society generally has not accorded James Lewa the recognition which he abundantly deserves for the tremendous contribution to the arts, the humanities, and the promotion of our indigenous culture in our country," end quote. However, in 2010, Leo was awarded an honorary doctorate by the University of Trinidad and Tobago for his role in performing arts. In his other reality, he is a simple man, a man of the people, an activist, an environmentalist, long before that word became popular. Those of us who joined the movement knew that this individual was determined to alter the landscape by creating institutions that will endure and have endured, and empowering people to be agents of change. I close in his own words, taken from the editorial of the GSACC magazine of 1977-78. These are Mr. Lever's words. We in the San Fernando Arts Council, striving over the years for a better deal for artists, have inevitably found that we have got to wake up the whole community. We have got to find the dynamics to unleash the dominant creative energies of this society. In the final analysis, who wields the power? Is it the thinking creative man or the politicians? And is such power being used for selfish, destructive, repressive ends, or to shape a better quality of life for all? End quote. James Lever is a champion, an educator, dramatist, activist, and builder of institutions. Let us celebrate his life, his vision, and his undying commitment to San Fernando. Mr. James Lever.
Thank you very much. If you could also, we can get Mr. Lever's award. One of the things, David, I think that the audience here may not know is that Mr. Lever stood in front of the trucks that were quarrying the San Fernando Hill, and he actually blocked the entire road to stop them from going any further. Otherwise, had it not been for James Lever, the San Fernando Hill would have been no more. Mr. Singh and Mayor Regrello. I'm going to ask his son, David. Is he here? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. James Lever. Thank you very much. I think it's a time for us to give away just another door prize, Keran, before we move, as we move along, and we are actually going to have a very short program here this evening, which I think is pretty good news because our entertainers are already here as well. So we're going to give away a door prize. Right now, where is my box? Good. Thank you. Let me see if I can invite somebody from the audience. How about the original sexiest man from the 1980s, Chandray Sharma? I'll bring up the sexiest man from the 21st century. That's Kevin Ratiram. So he's coming up in just a minute. So we're going to give away a door prize right now, sir. Former Member of Parliament for Faizabad, Government Minister. And the number is?
206.
206. 206. 206, check it. Mr. DJ, you can run a little bit. Oh, we have a prize. Good, good. So we have a winner. Come up. Will you, sir? Let me just check that. Yes, 206. You're absolutely correct. Good.
If I present this, do you know the meaning of Nara? Say it in my...
Yeah, Nara. You know it's Nara, right? Why are you asking him about Nara? Oh, I thought you were accustomed to lifting up sweet things. Right, congratulations. What's your name, by the way? All right, okay. Thank you, Mr. Bajna. Thank you very much, sir. All right, 206. That takes it. You look like you could hold us straight anytime. All right. So we're going to be moving around now with some raffle sheets because we will be giving away this Johnny Walker. And Mr. Deo Ramdas, who is the treasurer of the Greater San Fernando Chamber, will be moving around with those raffle sheets. Please, this is I think a $1,600 or $1,700 gift. So far we have one person, it's $100. $100 for the entire sheet there, or for a chance?
One chance.
For one chance. Right, to win this. So it's just $100. And this is about what? $1,800, $1,700 retail. Johnny Walker Blue. Somewhere around that. Yep. Good. Yep, there you could leave it right there. It's fine, it's good there. You just move around with the raffle sheets. Right. I think we can give away another prize right now before we move to our next honoree. And I'll be reading the biography of that honoree in just a moment. So let me see if I could call on someone. Dr. Lakram Bodo, Member of Parliament for Faizabad. I see that you're here, sir. How are you? And no, not yet, sir. I'll call on you in just a bit. Let me ask the man in charge of crime, the crime fighter, Senior Superintendent Wade Mohammed, to give away this next prize. So you shake up that. I'm going to move all this paper here. $205. 205. 205. 205. Right, let's just check on this senior soup. Let's go to the center here. Let me have your name, love. Jennifer Suku. Can we? Right.
Jennifer Suku.
Good, all right. And you're representing?
JMMB.
JMMB. Okay, is your CEO here? Where are they? Hi, JM. Yeah, I met you all at the British Chamber. At the Hyatt, was it? No, Queen's Park Oval. I'm trying to remember, yeah. But I remember meeting your Chief Executive Officer. Is he here tonight?
Not tonight, but the team is represented.
Wonderful. Can we see the team? JMMB, please stand. Your branch is in South Park. South Park. I think I recognize one of the faces that I met on the night. Am I correct? This young lady?
You're looking for friends, huh?
None? No, I'm looking for a fourth wife.
Well done.
Thank you very much. Okay, so senior soup. Thank you very much. Thank you, senior soup. I'll give you my car number so that you fellas don't go wrecking me again. All right. And I believe that His Worship has to leave. Are you leaving now, Your Worship, or are you going to spend some time with us? You've got another function here, so we've got a small token. Yep. For Mrs. Honey, I don't understand sign language, as you realize. I'm somewhat follically challenged. So if you could just come forward and just tell me. Right, good. Mrs. Reguelo. Just before you go, come on. You see how unified we are in Trinidad and Tobago? Imagine our worship, the mayor, a PNM mayor, has a wife named Kamla. Mrs. Reguelo, of course.
I have my own car.
Yes. So, on behalf of the Greater San Fernando Chamber, we'd like to present this to you, a token of our appreciation for your presence here. Mrs. Reguelo, thank you so much. Thank you, Dana. I heard someone calling the name of the Minister of Communications. Is she here? For some strange reason, I heard someone mentioning her name. All right, she was due here tonight. The Minister of Communications, Ms. Donna Cox. Ladies and gentlemen, I move on to our next awardee because our entertainers are already here. This awardee, ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention. This awardee is San Fernando born back in the year of 1954. He doesn't look a year younger than 70. He is an only son for his parents. His schooling was at the Monrepo RC and then St. Benedict's College in Laramie. I take it you went to St. Benedict's College, right? Yeah. It was there he began the sport of cycling and is the holder of many national awards and, of course, many championships, including medals at the GSACC Games, the Pan American Cycling Championships, and the Commonwealth Games in Christchurch, New Zealand back in 1974. To date, 45 years after, he is the last Trinidad and Tobago cyclist to win a medal at these games. To continue in the winner's row, then a young man, he joined Clico as a salesman, and he won the Rookie of the Year back in 1986. He is qualified for every company convention and national, and of course the awards, which is the LUAT, or Life Underwriters Association of Trinidad and Tobago. His greatest achievement in this sphere of his life was that of qualifying for the industry's most prestigious award, 18 years consecutively, the MDRT, which of course is the $1 Million Round Table. But this was not enough. Then came a life in politics, where he again excelled first as a campaign manager to Diane Sukaram, who became the member of the Parliament for San Fernando West, followed by his appointment as the mayor of San Fernando between 2003 and 2006. It is my understanding that even at the age of 65, he is still the champion drag racer in the motorcycle division of motorsports here in Trinidad and Tobago. Today, still in general insurance, he produces a Juve band annually. He's very active in culture. Of course, we know him for athletes. That's where we all go to wet off-road. I just have fruit punch. And of course, he's the chairman of the Point Lisas Industrial Port and Development Company, Clifton. What is most interesting is that we put him next to George Singh, our guest of honor here this evening. And when George decided to migrate to Port of Spain, it was Ian Atherley who decided that he was going to keep the chutney in South. Do you all remember that? George only started speaking to him tonight. The Greater San Fernando Chamber of Commerce is honored tonight for a man I consider as a father figure and a hero. And I never forgot when you gave me that $5 to buy that doubles for the girl I had liked that you were working with and whom I invited downstairs to because I couldn't afford it. He was one man, and when I used to see him driving in his Jaguar up and down, I said, that is one man I'd like to be. And at 65, I hope to be doing the same things you're doing when I arrive at that stage in my life. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the former mayor and a legend in Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Ian Atherley. President Singh. I don't think we could even let him go off the stage without at least saying something, you know. This is one man we'd like to hear from. Sir.
Ansley, you did it again. You took me by surprise, but I'm not lost for words. All protocols extended. It is strange that I have been asked or invited by your association, the Greater Chamber for Greater San Fernando. And I say this because it was just May 29th this year, my sister extended her business to Crossing, where we call Athletes by the Park. And in there, I was given a wall. It is, you can read San Fernando Hall of Fame. And the only person's picture up there is mine. You know why? Nobody ever thought of recognizing me for what I had done. So I am recognizing myself. So after that initiative came tonight. But as it's a unit, I will say that you recognized it first, because many of you have not been there, so you don't know the picture is up. I would like to thank you for taking the initiative to have seen and recognized what I have done in the city of San Fernando and continue to do. Not that my wife is very happy, because a lot of it is nocturnal. But that's when people come out, and so I try to tell her that every day, you know. Nevertheless, it is an honor to be here, and I'm very, very grateful for you and the members of your committee, Keran and Dale, and yourself and others, for inviting me here this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm going to be calling in just a bit to bring us greetings, representing, of course, the United National Congress. I'll be calling you in just a bit, sir. But we've got another door prize that we're going to give away because we had so many door prizes here this evening. And we've got to keep things rolling along because the entertainers are itching to get going. So I'm going to have one more pull. Incidentally, the shrubbery that you're looking at are all male plants. You all didn't get that, did you? Right, okay. And it's actually 4. How much are we allowed? 4 in the household? 4 in the household. And you can feel free when the party starts. You can wrap it. Alright? And roll it. Now we're going to pull. And I'm going to call on... Let me see. Well, JMMB just got Mr. Ratiram, the sexiest man of the 20th, 21st century. Come on, sexy boy. Attorney at law. All-round good guy. Where do you get time to keep yourself in shape like that? All right, so we're going to pull another number now. Shake the box. Right, so let's go.
5-1, 51.
Number 5-1, 51. Number 51, yes, we have a winner. This is for a $1,000 gift voucher from Adams Optical. $1,000 gift voucher from Adams Optical. Right, so Mr. Rajaram going to give it. We're going to do 3. We're going to give away 3. We just pick a number. Number 51. I wanted to make sure he's a criminal lawyer, you know. All right, so your name, sir?
Glenn Rizen.
Glenn Rizen, well, congratulations, sir. $1,000.
Congratulations.
So we're going to pull one more. Don't go away. People like looking at you. Is it funny we seeing him without popcorn? All right, good.
Ticket number 189. 189.
189. Ticket number 189. Let's get some music going, Mr. DJ. 189. Yes? What's the prize, love? This is a weekend getaway for 2 at Tradewinds Hotel. Weekend getaway for 2 at Tradewinds Hotel. Come, let me get to know you better. I like this prize. Let's just verify. Good. Let me see your number. Let me see your number. He's taking you? Well, I'll give it to Kevin one time. All right, so congratulations. What's your name, love? Kamal. Okay, good. Congratulations, Kamal. And welcome. She's giving you the eye. Here, come on. Hold on. You may win something else you don't know. Besides Kevin. As we go for one more.
Ticket number 188.
Ticket number 188. 188. So that might be on the same table. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the presence of Del Toro is here. Del Toro is in the back. Dennis Bisram grew up on Top Street in San Fernando. Attended Naparima College and of course, a national icon. Mr. Govind Sukhdev is here. And these are sunglasses from Optometrist Today, 188. Mr. Govind Sukhdev, sunglasses. Mega Supply Limited, of course. Let's see those sunglasses. Let's put it on. Let me see if we're done. Walk back off with the prize. I wear my sunglasses at night. Do you all remember that song? Corey Hart? Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're looking like Amitabh Bachchan. Yeah. You can take it off, Mr. Secretary. Don't go walking down that aisle with those sunglasses. All right, thank you very much, Leila. All right, so there's 3 prizes. We still got some more to give away. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is a man who served as the chairman of the Southwest Regional Health Authority. He's one of the finest people I met, one of the most decent men that I've had the pleasure of shaking hands with. And he is the Member of Parliament for Faizabad, sitting next to his predecessor. And here to bring us greetings, because I know you all are locked in a serious election battle. This local government has taken on the dimensions of a general election. And here to say a couple of words on behalf of Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa and of course the United National Congress is Dr. Lakram Mulu.
Thank you very much, Hansley. Very good night, ladies and gentlemen. I am very pleased and feel very honored to be amongst such a distinguished audience here tonight, and I'm very happy to join the Greater San Fernando Chamber of Commerce and President Keran Singh and members of your executive. I thank you for the kind invitation. I want to recognize former Mayor for San Fernando, my good friend Ian Atlee, and of course our special awardee here tonight, Mr. James Lewa. And ladies and gentlemen, just over 50 years ago, I feel very pleased to be here tonight for a special reason, because just over 50 years ago, in September of 1969 to be exact, when I walked up Naparima Hill, my principal at Naparima College, acting principal at that time was Mr. James Lewa. And of course he served Naparima College, and I can just recall him as a fine acting principal, and an educator, and I'm very grateful, and I feel privileged to be here tonight, President, as you presented that award. And of course, Ian Atlee himself, a legend in San Fernando, in the community in Trinidad and Tobago, and some will say international. Again, sir, I commend you, and I agree that it has taken far too long for you to be honored, but I'm sure that will change in the near future. So as Hansley mentioned, we are in the heart of a busy political season. But I just want to say that, you know, politics is everything, but everything is not politics. And what I mean by that is that politics is everything in the sense that, you know, for your schools and your roads and whatever and so on, politics is required. But of course, everything is not politics. And tonight, not everything is not politics. Last year I was here, Keran, and I, you know, made a certain pledge, and I talk now as a medical practitioner and as someone who is looking at fitness, and he talked about the San Fernando Hill. And I know I made a certain commitment, and I look forward, the mayor has left us, of course, you know, but we made a commitment in terms of making the San Fernando Hill something of importance to the health of the community of San Fernando in terms of creating that environment for exercise and tourism and so on. And I just want to add on top of that, that one of our plans as the opposition when we get into the government would be consideration of creating a cable car that will take you from the bottom to the top of the San Fernando Hill. So I just say that for those of you who walk up the San Fernando Hill and are too tired to come down, that you can take the cable car down. And of course, for those of you, you know, who can't walk up the hill and want to enjoy the view, that the cable car will take you up. But it is just an example of the kind of visionary thinking that we hope, you know, to bring to the, for the development of San Fernando and the country. So, on behalf of the leader of the opposition, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, I just want to bring greetings and to say a very special Christmas I want to commend you, President, for the initiative. I know your organization is a mere 2 years old, and I can see the work that you're doing. It's very important work, especially in a time when the economy, is in dire straits, and the business people here are facing very difficult times. And I just want to commend you on the work you've done in terms of cementing the business community and creating opportunities, for the business community. And I want to urge you as you go forward to continue your good work. And I wish your young organization all the best, and success as you go forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know you're here for the music. I know you have lots more prizes, and I know that the Johnny Walker Blue Label is still catching the eye of those here. So I just again want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. May God bless us all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lakram Mulu. Ladies and gentlemen, awardee. Again, this is a gentleman who grew up in an area where my grandfather, who was a native of the land of India, and my grandmother, he spent a lot of time as young boys there, he and his other siblings, who also were medical doctors, who are medical doctors. And he's one of our honorees here tonight. Dr. Roy Kelvin Tilakdari, nicknamed Fellas, in the village of Pinal Rock Road, where he was born 70 years ago, is the 6th of 12 children, all of whom rose to prominence after their headmaster father died at the age of 54. Had his parents been alive today, they would see 15 medical doctors among their children and grandchildren, most of whom continue to make valuable contributions, or rather invaluable contributions, to healthcare in Trinidad and Tobago. Dr. Tilakdari first came to live. Dr. Tilakdari first came to live in San Fernando in 1974, when he worked as a medical intern at the San Fernando General Hospital. However, after completing his internship and getting married to his University of the West Indies Mona campus sweetheart in Trinidad, he returned to specialize in internal medicine at Mona and subsequently subspecialize in cardiology at the University of Western Ontario, London, Canada. His family having grown to 5 by completion of his fellowship, he chose to return to San Fernando again in 1981 as a fully trained specialist in cardiology with the aim of introducing the latest expertise in his field in Trinidad and Tobago. He quickly earned the respect of his colleagues and throughout the Caribbean, becoming a founding member and the president of the Caribbean Cardiac Society, which comprises of over 110 doctors in English, French, and the Dutch-speaking Caribbean. He was also a founding member of the Trinidad and Tobago Heart Foundation and remained in the position of vice president until recently. While remaining a resident of this city since his return in 1981, he worked and developed cardiac services at the Cora Hospital and introduced pulmonary and cardiology services at the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex, in Mount Hope, of course. However, having recognized that there was a void in these areas in the southern part of the island, Dr. Tilakdari committed himself to enhancing and developing services in cardiology, internal medicine, and chest disease, and has undoubtedly been a pioneer in many aspects of the medical field locally. 26 years ago, with his wife Lynette, they undertook the venture of purchasing and developing the abandoned Cactus Inn Hotel. How many of you remember that? For the older men, don't put up your hands. If your wife is sitting next to you. Transforming it into the now highly reputable Cross-Crossing Medical Center. As a professional, Dr. Tilakdari remains committed to delivering up-to-date medical care in this fantastic hospital. I've been there, not for any heart problems, even though I am suffering a broken heart. And he does this also by enlisting his colleagues internationally thus ensuring that patients can always receive state-of-the-art care even when newer techniques are not available locally. He has and continues to lecture widely within the medical profession and to the public, and is involved with research projects locally adding to our population data. His teaching, research and leadership strengths have been recognized not just within the Caribbean, but on both sides of the Atlantic. Early in his career, he was made a fellow of the prestigious American College of Cardiology and subsequently the European Society of Cardiology, in spite of never having trained or worked within either of these regions. His students today are true professionals and leaders worldwide. His goals have remained consistent to help his community and to make healthcare and cardiology services more available to the public. His aims to do this in his practice as CCMC and, of course, through social outreach. In fact, in honor of his father, his family started the free annual Paul Tilakdari Memorial Medical Clinic in his native village of Rock Road since 1988. It's free every weekend. However, even with his focus and drive in medicine, his family and God have always been his priority. He's blessed to have his 3 daughters as medical specialists and consultants in the fields of pulmonary and critical care, diabetes, rheumatology, and is the proud grandfather of 5. However, in those times when he cannot be found at Cross Crossing Medical Center, he's probably enjoying his passion for traveling, whether to a conference, to visit a family, or simply to experience a different country or culture. In his words of his deceased colleague and friend, Dr. Ivan Perrott, Roy is a very humble, self-effacing gentleman who does things quietly and meticulously. It is these qualities which have allowed him to make an indelible contribution towards excellent healthcare in serving his community, his city, his country, and of course the Caribbean. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our next honoree, Dr. Roy Tilakdari. I'd like you to present this award.
To you. I respect you as a senior physician in the youth training. I'm privileged on behalf of the Chamber to present this. Congratulations.
Please say something, Dr. Tilakdari.
Master of Ceremonies, President and Executive members of the Greater San Fernando Chamber of Commerce, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say my profound thank you for this honor bestowed on me this evening. I am lucky to be a prophet honored in my own country. And it is even more significant as I am being honored amongst Mr. Ian Attlee, Mr. George Singh, and Mr. James Liwa, all prominent and eminent citizens of our community and nation. Congratulations, gentlemen. I am humbled to be in your company. I stand proud today, having been chosen in the field of medicine. But I know my recognition extends to many of my colleagues who, like myself, returned to Trinidad despite numerous opportunities for employment abroad after being trained. I represent a group which have come with the determination to make Trinidad and Tobago a better place. I wanted to live in San Fernando. There are many years when we plodded with the system and government and health ministries to make things better. But I'm proud to say we have achieved much. Since my return from Canada in 1981, I lived in San Fernando, working initially at San Fernando General Hospital and started private practice at San Fernando Medical Center, now SurgiMed. For some years, while still living in San Fernando, I worked at Cora Hospital but never left this town, and at Mount Hope Medical Sciences Complex. I resigned 21 years from the government hospital service to allow more rapid introduction of up-to-date techniques and to develop Cross-Crossing Medical Center. During the years, I was able to do much. Lecture extensively to the doctors here in San Fernando, in Trinidad, and in the Caribbean islands. I was able to achieve the necessary academic content in my work for international recognition and feel gratified that I can be part of the team leading the cardiologists in the Caribbean, still while working in San Fernando at Cross-Crossing Medical Center. I hope I can be of some inspiration to the young professionals here with a message of fortitude and determination. We can be successful in whatever we do while still making a great contribution to the community. Anyone can accomplish a world-class life of achievement right here in San Fernando. Our kids went to school here after completing A-levels, and they went straight to medical school at the University of the West Indies and at the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. They are now leading consultants in the field of medicine. So I encourage you to come, stay, and work here in San Fernando and make your contribution in whatever way you can. In closing, I say thanks again to the Greater San Fernando Chamber of Commerce for bestowing this honor. Best wishes to your as you continue to work hard to improve and develop the city. And certainly this gathering here has been, again, inspirational for me to help the Greater San Fernando area. I also say thanks to my wife, children, relatives, friends, and our staff members who have helped in this journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tilakgari. We've got 2 more prizes, and then we're bringing on the guest of honor before we start our party. And also the Johnny Walker, how's it going? Dave, are you successfully... What are you doing sitting down? You're supposed to be moving around, getting tickets? Okay, all right. I won't make a comment on that. He said that he was going for a second round. All right. Let me call for a representative. Mr. Bach. As we reach it, we're going to give away 2 prizes, Dina.
051. But I think this came already.
Wait a minute, how did that end up inside there? Who put those things back? Yeah, that went already. How did it get inside there? Yeah.
197.
197. 197. What's the prize? Fifth, a $500 gift voucher, courtesy Marcus International, Brands Galore, and Donnie and Ann's Brands Galore. 197. Is that a winner then? Okay, good. No, I was looking at you. I didn't think you had a number. And I will continue to look at you, despite you not having the number. All right. All right, good. Can I have your name, or let me just check the ticket? 197, are you seeing it? I don't have my glasses. What's your name, love? Natasha, okay, Natasha. And you'll tell me afterwards when we start the party, how did you get that there? All right.
Congratulations on behalf of the chamber.
She says it's a long story. I have the time. All right, good. Thank you, Mr. Patch. Hold on. Yeah, one more. Thank you, Natasha. Right. Here we go.
231. Number 231.
231. 231. Ah, table down in the back. And this one, Dave? 1 month's free membership at Cyborg's Gym. Cyborg's Gym. Where is that? Tradewinds Hotel. Okay. Cyborg's Gym. Kevin, you're going to shift to Cyborg's Gym, I suppose, from Gulf City. Del Toro, I suggest you also go to Cyborg's Gym. I strongly suggest it. Thank you very much, ma'am. Let's just check that. Can I have your name, please, ma'am? Penny Monroe, and...
Congratulations on the winning prize. So on behalf of the chamber.
Thank you so much. Right. Right, so Dana, is that it for our door prizes? Or do we have more door prizes to give away? No more door prizes? Yeah, we got 2 more? All right, well, we can do that later. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the last but certainly not least item on our program this evening. And it gives me great pleasure and an honor to introduce this man whom I've known for 40 years, over 40 years. Keran Singh, Jr. is the founder, principal, owner and CEO, Chief Executive Officer of SouthX. He has been the driving force behind the company, which grew at a tremendous rate from 1991 to 2019. Today, the company stands out in Trinidad and Tobago as one of the leading event management companies in the country and, of course, the Caribbean. He has been responsible for the production and management of hundreds of events from small to large. The company has become one of the only companies involved in large-scale business and entertainment events, all under the direction of young George. SouthX started in 1991 as a small trade show with just 8 companies. It grew to become the largest trade show event in Trinidad and Tobago, with over 180 companies exhibiting around 2005, when Gulf City started a massive renovation. And of course they had to move the event. After traveling to Center of Excellence, South Napa, the event is now back at Gulf City, and it's once again becoming the force in driving business in San Fernando through this annual event. In 1996, George Singh started Chutney Soca Monarch, 1996, which many claimed was destined to fail, as people felt it had no place in Carnival. Today, the Chutney Soca Monarch stands out as one of the 4 most important Carnival events on the national calendar of events for Carnival, and in 2020 will celebrate its 25th anniversary. Let's give a last round of applause. This is certainly an accomplishment. The company itself has positioned itself as the largest infrastructure provider for the conference market in Trinidad and Tobago, and is involved in all the large trade show events in the country. The Trade and Investment Convention just concluded Carifesta, just to name a few. They have also extended the reach of the event management company, now dealing with events throughout the Caribbean, and just completed a successful event in St. Kitts. They've also done a few events in Guyana and is expected to do a major conference in St. Lucia next year, 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome a man who grew up right there on Patmore Street in San Fernando, spent all his life in the city. And even though we didn't want to forgive him for moving to Port of Spain, we were happy to embrace him when he came back home. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for our guest of honor, and of course this year's honoree for the gala of the Greater San Fernando Area Chamber, Mr. George Singh Jr. President, our mayor has left, but President, if you could make this presentation to George.
To the city of San Fernando. George, we are honored to present you with this plaque, this award, to honor you for your tremendous years of hard work and dedication to develop San Fernando business and network business within our city, and demonstrate that San Fernando has a lot to offer to the entire country. Thank you again, George. Please accept this award on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce.
You may take your seats. George.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's late. I know you probably don't want to hear a long speech from me. But before I start, I have to tell Hansley one thing. Hansley, I find you give plenty of trouble. And before I go into my speech, I now understand, I'm sure you all aware now, why Hansley had 3 wives. He's been having problems with his stand. The hole in the box was too small, he couldn't get his hand in it. Somebody else had to rip it open. So Hansley, and you're looking for a 4th wife? Ladies and gentlemen, good night. All protocols observed. Good evening. I feel that Hansley said everything for me, but I will go through some of the nitty-gritty points. Hopefully it wouldn't take too long. Let me begin by, first of all, congratulating the other awardees tonight. Former Mayor, Dr. Tilak Dari, Mr. James Liwa. And let me say I'm humbled for the recognition given to me by the Greater San Fernando Chamber of Commerce. Thank you. You actually topped our year with the icing on the cake on what has actually been a pretty good business year for us. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. This was something that was said to me hundreds of times by my father. And you know, it really sunk in. My father, George Sr., was a school principal, St. Thomas Aquinas High School. And he was an entrepreneur. Many people might ask, how can a school principal be an entrepreneur? Well, St. Thomas Aquinas High School was a private school that received no funding from government. They relied solely on school fees from students to pay salaries and maintain the school. He found many innovative ways to increase business. He was the first person to invest heavily in a language laboratory institute, and he was one of the first people to bring Venezuelans to Trinidad to learn English. He also set up, when personal computers were introduced and before anybody even knew about Apple and the introduction of the internet, he had set up a computer training laboratory. He was one of the first to do these things in San Fernando. He was a true visionary, and I can say safely today that he has really guided me, and he has guided my path to what I have, and I learned so much from him. There were good times and there were bad times. We were hit hard by the recession of the 80s. This was also the time, around the time, that government introduced junior secondary schools. And private secondary schools started having problems meeting their financial obligations. I remember one of the last things he said to me before he died. He said, Junior, because he called me Junior, of course, you learned a lesson that I learned a lesson on my dying bed, and I'm happy that you were able to learn this lesson as a young man. I will never forget that. And I will never forget the lessons learned through that very tough period in my family's life. As a young man, I grew up in a house with 5 sisters. I was the youngest. Apart from my mother and father, a grandmother, a grandfather, a grandaunt, and 3 housekeepers, we were 14 people under one roof. It was a large house. But I was brought up to have respect for my fellow man, with integrity and honesty always at the forefront. We were a church-going family, and I will never forget on a Sunday morning at the Roman Catholic Church on Harris Promenade, we would fill an entire pew when we went to church. Every decade of my life has been significant. Of course, there were formative years in the first decade. At the age of 17, I had just come back from a year at boarding school at Canada. Just got accepted to do law at Cavil in Barbados, and was also accepted to do business at a university in Canada. When my father sat me down one night and said to me, do you want to make money now, or do you want to make money in 5 years? The idea that he proposed to me was going to be a life-changing one for me. My sisters, of course, were mad as hell, because here he was, taking me out of going to university, and he was a school principal, and we were having a conversation about that earlier. In 1981, I started my first business, which is where I met Hansley actually, a video club that started at my house, eventually found a home at Gulf City, Video SS Caribbean. I don't know how many people would remember that. But we had about 2,000 people visiting our establishment every week. With technological advances happening every day, and with that technology getting cheaper and more affordable to consumers, with the introduction of the satellite dish and cable, video clubs were destined to be a thing of the past. Just as the 8-track tapes, cassettes, VHS and beta was soon to become history. However, it was in my 20s that life started getting interesting. Apart from the fact that at the age of 22, I married Priya, my life partner, who's here with me still, and I actually had written here, we're about to celebrate 33 years of marriage, and she reminded me, it's actually 34. She also gave me 2 wonderful sons, Kavir and Samir, who are also here. Kavir is an attorney, and Samir has his master's in business entertainment, and he's actually working with our company today. Apart from this, at the age of 28, having a shop at Gulf City, tenants started looking for ways to generate traffic to the mall. And it was in 1991 that Saltex started. It started with 8 companies, as Hansley said, and half of the companies were car companies. So it was fascinating when people came into the mall, to this particular expo, there were cars all over the mall. So people wondered, and in those days there was a Sampu Plaza at Gulf City. And we had cars on all the different levels. So when people walked into the mall, they were fascinated. They wondered, how did we get these cars in the mall, one? Where did they pass? And how did we manage to get these cars on all these step levels? Saltex Expo grew at a phenomenal rate. And when Gulf City went under a major renovation, we were forced to move out of the mall. When we did, that last expo in those days had 187 displays. And it was the largest expo in the country. One of the most interesting things about the Saltex Expo is that it always generated business. It was never a flea market, but it didn't only generate business for the participants at the expo. It generated business for San Fernando, it generated business for the mall. And you know, it's something that really became very, very important to San Fernando. In 1995, with the Saltex Expo growing at a phenomenal rate, I started looking for the next big thing, the next challenge. I was now in my 30s. A friend of mine walked into my store at Gulf City one day and said to me, George, why don't you do a chutney show? I was like, what? A what? So he invited me to an event that was happening at Samar Entertainment Center in Pina. When I got there that particular, I think it was a Saturday night, after telling, I was mesmerized. I felt something inside of me move. I looked at Samar that night and I saw something much bigger. Much, much bigger. My mind just went crazy. The thoughts started flowing. The music was infectious. And the vibration that I got from being there was something that I had never experienced before. That weekend, my mind started working. Soca Monarch was an event that I had gone to earlier that year. And I started thinking to myself, why not a chutney Soca Monarch? Already that year, Saliman's song was a runaway hit. It was playing everywhere. And I thought, maybe there was something here. So I did my plan. And the first person that I went to with my plan and the idea was a media house. Of course, over the years, I had developed several relationships with people doing the Saltex Expo. So I thought going to the media with something like this should be pretty easy. I took my idea, went into that office, all pumped and motivated. The guy I went to speak with read my proposal, looked at me, and asked me if I was crazy. You want to bring this Indian thing into carnival? He said to me, are you mad? It would definitely fail. He said the big promoters in the country would mash me up, that no one would pay attention, and that this would be destined to fail. I left that office that day even more determined than ever. Because deep down inside of me, something was saying to me that this was a winner. I went to another media house. They loved the idea. The rest is history. In 1996, we held the first Chutney Soca Monarch in Trinidad and Tobago. Sunny Man with Lotila walked away with the title, and the show was hailed by the national TV station TTT as the biggest success of Carnival that year. We even got a letter from Louis Lee Singh, who was the CEO at TTT, asking me to come see him to discuss the plans for 1997. I know that I may have made that sound pretty easy. However, it was not a walk in the park. We have had many challenges with Chutney Soca Monarch, or CSM as it is called today. There were many people who felt that Chutney and Chutney Soca had no place, or has no place in Ghana. Funding for the show from both corporate and government have always been on the lower rungs of the ladder. It was truly a struggle. Still is. But remember what I said at the beginning of my remarks tonight. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it will achieve. I never gave up with CSM. Always striving every year to make it better, bigger, and more spectacular. The productions of this show, many have argued, are the best in Carnival. The productions now run into millions of dollars. And you know what is best of all? It is held right here in San Fernando. Yes, we did go to Port of Spain one year, but I left it in good hands. My good friend, I believe it was 2012, and the reason I went to Port of Spain, and I'll let you all know today, was really to make a point. Because a lot of people feel that Chutney and Chutney Soca is a countryside thing. They think it's a back of the yard thing. And I said, you know what? I'm going to drop this in the middle of Port of Spain. And that's why we went to the Queen's Park over. And it was a success. This was also the year that the Soca Monarch and the Chutney Soca Monarch was recognized as being very important. So important that a political promise was made the day before elections. And that was the $2 million first prize. You all remember that? For Soca Monarch and Chutney Soca Monarch. The playing field was finally level. There's an argument as to why government must support these events. Why can't they support themselves? When Kamla Prasad Bisesa stood on a platform and promised a $2 million first prize, it became government's responsibility. And to this day, basically, the government is responsible for paying prize money. I have to say though, that this initiative, although many disagreed with the amount of money that was being given to one artist, actually sparked the growth of the industry as we have it today, and gave artists and producers incentives to move forward, and it motivated the industry basically. CSM has become very special to us. From 1996 to today, this event has spawned an industry that now includes hundreds of dancers, artists, producers, music studios, prop builders, bands, and so much more. Not only here in Trinidad and Tobago, but in every area in the world where there is a large concentration of Caribbean people. It has pumped millions of dollars directly into the pockets of people that would never have had access to these opportunities. The prize monies have been life-changing. And I have been able to see firsthand the impact that this event has had on the lives of many poor artists. Before Kenneth Salick won the Chutney Soca Monarch with his song Radical, no one ever knew who he was. Ricky Jai has won 9 titles and is now considered a cultural icon. Ravi B and Raymond Ramnarine are in every carnival fete, every year. These things would never have been possible if it wasn't for Chutney Soca Monarch. There are so many songs and artists over the years that have had an impact on Trinidad and Tobago's carnival through Chutney Soca Monarch. In 2020, the Chutney Soca Monarch, or CSM, will celebrate its 25th anniversary. The theme is dubbed The Journey, and what a journey it has been. One would have thought that with Chutney Soca Monarch and the Southex Expo, George was on easy street. Southex as a company continued to grow, and over the years diversified into a fully fledged event management company handling approximately 40 events per year. I was now in my early 40s when the phenomena of the Indian Expo started in Trinidad and Tobago. The Indian High Commission had brought the first exhibition from India to Trinidad, and a friend invited me to attend. There's always a friend taking me somewhere. When I walked into that exhibition, I was taken aback by the type of infrastructure that they were using at the exhibition. I looked at it, it was something I had never seen before in Trinidad, and I wanted it. I had to have it. I was introduced to the guy that had actually brought the infrastructure in, and he told me, he said, well, you know, we're going to pack this up and take it back to India. Before that exhibition left, we bought every panel, every nut and bolt, every light, everything that they had in that exhibition, we bought it, so that he didn't have to take it back. But before we bought it, we signed a deal with the Indian High Commission and the producers of the Indian Expo, who were planning to bring that particular expo back to Trinidad in 6 months. And we signed a contract with them for us to partner with them and for us to be the exclusive provider for that particular infrastructure. Today, our company, Southex, is the largest supplier of booth infrastructure for the conference market. There is no other company in the country that can supply the number of booths that we have. We have cut ourselves a niche market, and we keep the standards and quality of service that people look for. When I turned 50, I knew there was so much more that I wanted to do. In the last few years, together with my 2 sons, we have taken things to a whole new level. Southex is now actively involved in projects throughout the islands. We have done 2 projects in Guyana. We've worked with a company in Barbados. As you just heard, we just finished a project in St. Kitts and Nevis, and we are about to sign a contract for St. Lucia for 2020. In 2019, we were also successful in taking the Chutney Soca Monarch into Toronto for the first time, CSM Toronto. The event was very successful, and this is something that we will continue to pursue on an annual basis. As a matter of fact, the winner of that event has qualified automatically for the grand final in Trinidad and Tobago. At the 2020 CSM 25th anniversary, the show will be broadcast live not only to Trinidad and Tobago, but it has recently been picked up by ZTV and will be carried throughout the Caribbean territory in countries like Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, the BVI, the Cayman Islands, Curacao, Dominica, Grenada, Jamaica, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and Turks and Caicos. So if anybody didn't know about Chutney Soca, definitely they're going to know about it in 2020. Also, one of the things that we're doing in 2020 is we're hosting 5 viewing parties. 1 in Miami, 1 in Orlando, 1 in New York, and 2 in Toronto. These viewing parties are actually going to have live feeds, 2-way feeds. One coming from Trinidad and one coming back from their party to Trinidad. And I get any signal for time. I'm almost finished. Right? So the people on the night that looking at the final would actually be able to see what's going on in Trinidad and what's going on in the parties that are happening all around the country. Nothing like that has ever been done before. It has not all been smooth sailing for us. There have been many pitfalls. The most important thing is that when you fall, you pick yourself up and go again, never looking back, but always moving forward. Always stay positive, and remember, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And only by much searching and mining are gold and diamonds obtained. You must choose your thoughts and shape your circumstances. The universe will provide what you need. You just have to think it, see it, believe it, and it shall be yours. Success is a state of mind. It is a conditioning of your mind. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it will achieve. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. George Singh Jr. The media has requested, and we've got to give away to Johnny Walker, that all 4 awardees for print and, of course, national television, that we'll take a picture of all 4 awardees. So maybe we can bring them in now, before we have the draw, as Mr. Lewa has to go to Grand Couva tonight. So we can bring them over here. We're just going to take one picture here, gentlemen, for the sake of the media and all awardees. So please, all members of the media, come in quickly as possible. Mr. Lewa has to leave. Right here. And I would like to say, on behalf of the President of the Greater Area San Fernando Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Keran Singh, our Treasurer, Mr. Deo Ramdas, myself, and to everyone who came here to support us, thank you ever so much. We're indeed grateful to Campbell Restaurant especially, and of course to Anne Samaru. Why are we acknowledging Anne? All right, to our Public Relations Officer, Anne, sorry about that, darling. Sorry about that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a great party here tonight, so we're going down to the 2nd floor. The bar has been reopened. I think we still have